Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Annalise here. Alpha was leading me to go ahead and share the next part in Parent Wound. Now, this one is, yes, anywho, make sure that you bring every word back to Abba. Test the spirit by the spirit. Make sure that you are asking Abba if this word is for you, um, if it is, what parts are for you, and then if it's a right now word, or help me, Holy Spirit, if it's something to shelf for later, because there is that space, even if it's like confirming stuff, even if it sounds good, even if like it's Holy Spirit and Jesus and God, and like even if that's what is being spoken, don't just run with it as like, oh, this is my word, running with it, believing in it, doing the things that are in the video or that are being told to you in the video. Please, please, please make sure that you are testing the spirit by the spirit, and that just simply is like, Abba, is this for me? What parts are for me? Is this right now? And he will let you know. He knows how to get something to you. He knows how to get things to you. He will let you know. Anywho, so we've been talking about parent wounds. And so this is the next part in it. And so Abba was leading me to kind of just like share this part. And this part is a little difficult. And that's where I kind of hesitated before, because it's a space of like, mm, help me, Holy Spirit. Basically, that saying is like, you know, if it's silly, but it rings true on this side, I was saying. So the part where it'll say like, you'll know if a guy cares about you if he gives you like his last bite of food. I think that's silly when it comes to like relationship wise. Um, you know, and just in general, because it's a space of like, is my plate is my food? Like, look, is my plate and my food? And you see the what you calls like, I think I think it's I don't I don't like the trend, because I don't be liking the trends and the things that be going on that pertaining to relationships, dating, marriage, the ones that just really poke at soft spots, as far as in like being with someone else, being unfaithful, infidelity, like all of that stuff. I don't like the pranks and the trends and everything that be going on, and be like, okay, yeah, we're not doing that. For what? Anywho, um, one of them is the phone. So of course they're trying to say like, if you hold the phone, then that means you're doing something you're not supposed to do. This where it's just like, I don't too much care for none of that. That's it's weird. Like, stop it. Anywho, um, the part that like kind of tickles me is where you get that one compilation where it has all of them that are reaching for the food. That's what I'm getting at. The ones that are reaching for the food, but that's where it's coming from as far as in the trend itself. Um, and so you'll see like, it'll be the girl that's reaching for the phone, or the guy that's reaching for the phone, and they had the compilation where, look, they snatching up they Cheetos, they snatching up they chips, they snatching up they candy, they snatching up their food. Some of the guys are literally like inhaling their taco or their chicken sandwich, burger, whatever it is. They're just like, and they eat it all up, and it's just like, what did you want? And it's like, I just wanted your phone. Okay, here, go, move. When and the I'm bringing that up because it kind of just it that's what Abba was showing me as like, the pairing with it in the space of like, um that it's funny, it tickles, it's different, um in the space of giving you that last bit of food, because it's like, it's my plate is my plate, like, hold on, wait a minute. But that right there, in the space of that saying that says, if they care about you or if they love you, if they give you that last bite of food, I feel like that's a little petty and they be playing with that a little bit too much and they take it a little too far. But it reigns true in this perspective when it comes down to parent wounds. And the way that Abu was breaking it down to me is, how comfortable are you going to the kitchen? How comfortable are you making your own plate of food in the kitchen? If you think about what you want to eat and you think about what you want to eat walking into your parents' house, being in your parents' house, going to the kitchen, and you making the food that you want to make, what does that evoke in you? And Abu was bringing it to me like this, in the space of not your parents giving you the last bite of food, but in the space of your parents, how comfortable are you basically grocery shopping in their kitchen? And if it's not the space of grocery shopping in their kitchen, you making your own little thing in the kitchen, whether that be a sandwich, your own little concoction, you Chef Boyardee with it, whatever it is. And he was letting me know that how comfortable you are is, it's not the totality of it, and it's not a means to like gauge it as an absolute, because there are other factors that play into the space of that parent wound. But what he was getting at was, this is one of the ways that you can tell how comfortable, or how do you say, relaxed, laxed, or, thank you, Abba, open, thank you, Holy Spirit, open the connection is, parent to child, even parent to adult child. You can see how open the connection is, as well as you can see how, what is it? Intimate. Thank you, Holy Spirit. You can see how intimate the connection is, and depending on how that makes you feel about, like, literally what I just said, will gauge what level of connection or intimacy there is. And what he was showing me was basically Snow White, Cinderella. Snow White, of course, you have her where she's like, she's getting, you know, she's she's basically, she's provided for, but it's like, that's it. You got Cinderella, she's provided for, but she's getting basically scraps. And then you got that space of like, even with thank you, Holy Spirit, he's honing in on the Cinderella part, because there's a level of the way that it's done. Help me, Holy Spirit. The way that it's done, it's in a level that is discreet, and it's challenging for me to get this out, because it's a way that it's just like, it's it's testimony, but it's also the space of like, it's just difficult to get out, because it can be misconstrued, and it can be overlooked or dismissed, because so 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 many of us, and many of the time, we don't understand what is healthy, what is pure, what is true, what is love. We we understand this level of toxicity and drama, and sometimes that level of toxicity and drama could be um so ingrained that you think it's normal. And you don't know it's not normal until you begin to like get around other people, get around like the real world or whatever, and you get to see like, okay, hey, that shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't feel like that. Walking into your parents' kitchen feeling like you can't make anything, you can't touch anything, you can't eat anything, or if you do, you're going to get yelled at, you're going to get snapped at, you're going to have to replace it, you're going to have to, how do you say, mm, you're going to have to like fend for yourself in the space of like, thank you, Holy Spirit. He's bringing to my attention James and the Giant Peach, where they basically made themselves like this nice dinner and they would have their nice dinner every night. And they would be like, what you call it? It's whatever food that they made him, which is usually like the fish head. It looked disgusting. Um, they would say, "Oh, it's in there," and he would go and get it, and you just see these two fish heads with the eyes and the mouth just staring at you, and it's like, you want me to eat that while they're having like a whole feast of something else. And most of the time he wouldn't eat it, or he would take something out of the garbage, where you see the scene where he took the I think it's a chip bag, but it looks like a popcorn bag. It's a chip bag, and he eats the rest of the little bit of chips out of there. You know, the space of like going to bed hungry, or even this very, very, very sad and tragic clip that I seen of this lady and I guess her husband or boyfriend. I don't know. I think they were babysitting somebody else's kid, or that was their kid. I don't know because I don't know the full story, but I just remember seeing the clip and the baby boy just sitting there. He's hungry, and they are sitting there eating food, burgers, fries, um, salad, and everything, and he has to sit there in front of them and watch them eat. And they, anytime he reached for it, like, she would pop him, and he's hungry. Like, you could tell baby's hungry. Like, they eating food, and they eating food right in front of him. Like, the level of like livid and ooh, I nearly threw my phone. I nearly threw my phone. Hmm. So there's a level of blatantness like that will happen, or that will occur. But then there's a level of subtlety that it will come as, that you don't recognize, or that you don't realize is not something that's like, that's a little odd. And it comes down to a space of, help me, Holy Spirit. You have to eat. You have to eat. And because you have to eat, and you don't, it's not just eating once a day. Normally they say you're supposed to eat like 5 times a day: breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, um, second breakfast. Um, you're supposed to have multiple meals per day, but generally it's that 3 meals a day, if not the 2 meals, whether it's like you eat breakfast and dinner, or you do lunch and dinner. Um, as far as in like a more realistic, what you called, um, in that space, the subtlety of it can come more so in that form of, and the way that you're able to gauge this is how comfortable you are going into the kitchen to make something to eat. Is it bringing a space of tension? Is it bringing a space of like fear, anxiety, worry, depression? Is it bringing a space of like, okay, you know how this is going to end, especially if you touch this, that, and no. Um, some of them even might have where there's like a whole pantry, a whole shelf where this is where all the food is, but you can't touch it. And everywhere else, it's just kind of like scraps, where there's like, okay, there's ketchup, there's rice, There might be a packet of like beef stew seasoning and some random elbow macaroni, just random stuff that's, how do you say, not necessarily, a meal as far as in putting it together. You get me? Now, we can be creative, but even that, once that's gone, it's not like, okay, that's being replenished. Once that's gone, it's okay, that's gone. Um, and then there's the subtlety of it in the space of like, you might have them come home and they either ate or they have food that they bought from like a restaurant or whatever, and they'll sit there and they'll eat it knowing that you don't have one and didn't get you one or get you anything. On top of that, there's the space of when they will buy something, um, and also maybe eat it in front of you, where it's like a, you know, that other space where it's like, okay, they will make all the food and whatnot, but then whatever's left over, whatever's picked over, is like maybe the last two pieces. Oh, you can maybe have this, or um no, that's not for you, I was going to save that for lunch, but knowing that there's nothing else for you to kind of like make or have. Now, this is something that goes on that aids or is stemming from that caretaker syndrome that we were talking about, where it gets to this point of them being exhausted, them being drained, them being burned out in the space of like, okay, it's always on me, it's always on me, it's always on me. And so there gets to be that space where they kind of like, how do you say, I guess, that sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. And there's this level of like, okay, well, why is it all on me? And then it's this level of, how do you say, getting real in your face with it, and in your face with it by the means of like, help me, Holy Spirit, in your face with it, with in the means of like, okay, you don't pay this, you don't pay that, you don't do this, I pay all of this, I pay all of that. It's basically throwing all of the stuff that they do for you, which is basically their responsibility as your parent to take care of the child. And in that space, they throw all of that to say, oh, I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. But it's throwing it at you, and you are, now you feel like a burden. You feel like, okay, why am I here? I'm here for no reason. And you start to feel like a burden, even in the space of you reaching for something to eat, you reaching for something that you need. You feel like a burden reaching for it. You feel like a burden asking for it. You even feel like a burden expecting it, in the space of like, when you open that fridge, what it's supposed to feel like is you could go in there and you can get whatever you want. You could eat whatever you want without thinking about consequences, the who ate my, and who touched, and did you eat, and um, the are you gonna replace it, and are you gonna put it back, and I'm the one that has to replace it, and you're not thinking about all of that. You're supposed to go in that fridge and you can get whatever you want, eat whatever you want, build whatever you want, and not have any type of backlash from it. And then even as you grow into being that adult child, it should be this space of like, hey, I can go to my mom's house, and I can go to my parents' house, and I can literally go shop. I got tissue, I got laundry detergent, I got a basket, I done got some cleaning supplies, I done got I done got some juice, I done got some snacks. I done look, because when I say this, that's how I'm gonna be with all my children. I decree and declare that is how I'm gonna be with all of my children. Ain't no way you're gonna feel like you can't come into the what you call and not grab anything. Ain't no way. Even as you become this adult child, you gonna feel like you're not welcome in my house. Ain't no way. Because that's what you get to feel like. You feel like a burden. You feel unwelcome. You feel like, why am I even here? And it tends to, it starts in the space of when you're this younger kid, and you that's where you begin to, when I get older, I'm gonna get whatever I want. And we're a lot of, wow, we're a lot of us have those glutton issues. A lot of us have those weight issues. A lot of us have those issues in the space of overindulging, overeating, eating it all, like eating everything. Um, Either you're told you couldn't have it, or it's that space of feeling like a burden, in the space of you not feeling welcome to be able to get whatever you want to get. Um, and again, sometimes it's not blatant. Sometimes it's very subtle. Um, I know one I know one person that I was talking to, and she was like, and I believe I talked about this before, but she has a autoimmune disease where her body is literally sore like all of the time, because it's in her blood. And with that being said, she goes through a lot of surgeries and a lot of in and out of the hospital. And with that, her parent made food and would make food and would kind of just not make sure that she had food, and it'd be like, oh well, you can get up and get it, you can get up and make it. And it's like, okay, my body's aching here, and I'm in and out of the hospital, and you want me to find the strength that I already zapped just getting up to use the bathroom, to go and make something to eat, like fully cook in the kitchen. And then knowing I, because of that, can't work, that means that it falls on the parent to make sure that they have something to eat. So even when it's like, oh, they buy out, it's like, oh, well, you can buy whatever you want to buy. It's real subtle like that. And it comes in a space that's just like, and it's difficult to explain, because it's like, well, okay, well, if you didn't go in there and make nothing, or you didn't work, so you don't have your money to go ahead and get your own food. um and even when it comes to adult children's work, like, well, you're an adult now, so you should be able to xyz. But if you're called to something, excuse me, if Abba has called you as an apostle, as a disciple, as a prophet, there's a lot of us that are out here that do not have actual or physical jobs. There's a lot of us that, not that we're not able to find one, but that is being blocked because Abba is not allowing us to. There's a lot of us that have had to move back in with our parents. There's a lot of us that have had to rely on those parents to provide for us. And of course, there's another level to that. Thank you, Holy Spirit. He's leading me to share, like, okay, it comes from and it stems from this space of really giving them the time and the space to kind of make things right, to kind of reset things, and to, how do you say, um, also for you to be able to come back, because there's too many gems in your past. There's too many gems in the space where you got hurt. It's like the shack, thank you, Holy Spirit, where he said, this is the spot, this is the place where it all went down. This is the spot where it all went wrong. And he's showing him places in the past that he had to go back to be able to understand where it went wrong, where the wires got switched, where you got reprogrammed. And so a lot of times you're having to go back to go forward. You're having to understand what happened in your childhood to understand how you're seeing now, and how that is affecting your future because of decisions that you're making in your present, but you don't realize the decisions that you're making in your present are affected by the trauma and the triggers and everything that are going on, or that went on from your past and from your childhood, and you don't realize that they're there and that they've morphed and shaped the way that you think, the way that you see, the way that you hear. You don't see that, you don't understand that. And that is the whole point, you going back to go forward. So a lot of us have had to go back to our parents' house to understand where it all went wrong. Thank you, Holy Spirit, to understand where all of it has reprogrammed you so that you're stuck in this space of survival mode. You're stuck in this fight, fight, or freeze. You're stuck in this space of fending for yourself. You're stuck in this space of like um, thank you, Holy Spirit. He showed me this vision, and the way that he gave it to me was like in survival mode. You are basically in the woods, and you're running through the woods in the dark, and you think everything and every shadow and every noise is a bear or a wolf or something that can attack you, and something that can harm you or hurt you. So every step that you take, any noise that you hear, any shadow that you see, anything that you see, you're automatically in this state of panic and fear, and that's your adrenaline and your cortisol levels that are just spiking and all over the place and all out of control. It's a chemical imbalance within your body, and when you stay in that space too long, it begins to decay and breed environment for disease in your body, and you don't understand that how all of this is connected. And that's the whole point of you going back to go forward. So even as the adult children, well, you should be able to work, and you should be able to find your what find there's a bigger picture at hand. And because everything belongs to God, there's also that space of um the way Abba wants to get it to you is the way Abba wants to get it to you. So if he's going to bless you through someone you don't like, or bless you through someone that can't stand you, or bless you through someone who is your enemy, he's not only testing them, he's also testing you. There's a bigger picture at hand that comes down to this when it comes down to that space. Remember, when it comes down to that, even you are that Snow White, you are that Cinderella that has that light in you that irritates their darkness, that irritates that space of like, well, I never got to do that. And when you listen even to the estranged parents, it's, well, I never got to, and I didn't get that when I was younger. And it's all of those excuses of why they are pretty much like a crappy person or like a crappy parent. They like, there's all these excuses about it, and it's like, oh, it's my first time living life. Or just like the post that I posted where it was like the adult child that's telling the parent and trying to get to the parent, hey, I'm hurt here, you hurt me here. And over and over again, the parent is basically dismissing it, like, oh, you only think about the bad stuff, or oh, you only bring up that one time, or oh, you only think about that, or oh, that's the only conversation that we can have. It's like they completely dismiss it to say, oh, well, basically get over it. And there's this space in that energy of like, because I have this title, um because I have this because I'm the one that's responsible and I have to deal, etc., etc., then you need to do what I want. You need to do what I want you to do, when I want you to do it, how I want you to do it. I could dance on your neck and you can't do anything about it. To have this level of control, and you understand, that's not how you're supposed to treat a person in general. In the space of even that in it of itself, just, it literally breeds all this space of toxicity and drama and dysfunction and manipulation, and you don't realize it as a kid. And then as you grow up as an adult, you think, oh, well, that's my mom, I have to respect her. And thinking that doing whatever she tells you to do, how it is, all of that is a level of respect. And it's like, when you're a kid and you don't know, train them up in the way that they should go. That applies, that's applicable. But as you become a person, as you mature, as you become an adult, there's a level of that not applying, because now you have to deal with the consequences, and now you have to walk it out, and now you have to pay for it, and now you have to, whether that's actually paying for it or paying the consequences for it. And there's a level of manipulation in the space of them living through you, and um, them thinking like, oh, I can control everything that you do. And it's like, no, you don't realize that that's not something that is okay. Like, that's not okay. You don't realize that though until you begin to grow and see them not as a parent. You're not seeing them as mom or dad. You're seeing them as that's a man, that's a woman. You're seeing them as they are. And then when you begin to walk through this healing journey with Abba, and he begins to let you see certain things and let you peel back certain layers, you begin to see the patterns and habits, and you begin to see that it's literally this little girl and this little boy that's showing up in that adult body. And what I'm getting at though in summing that all up is how comfortable you feel walking in the kitchen to make whatever is going to be one of the examples to show you the level of connection and the level of intimacy that you and your parent have. Now, like I said, it's not just that, because there can be some spaces and places where, hey, you go in there and you get whatever you want, da da da. But there are other areas that just make you feel inadequate, that make you feel like a burden, that make you feel like, well, why am I here? As a child and even as an adult child, especially when you having to go back to your parents' house from the orchestration of Abba doing what he's doing. Now, of course, also there is a level of fine line there in the space of consequences to um, your actions and your poor decisions. But I'm not. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm not talking to that group. I'm talking to the group that's like, hey, you were able to be out and about in the world, paying your own stuff, doing your own thing, and then things the way that they just happened, and the way that the cookie fell, and the way that the things crumbled. No matter how hard you tried, no matter where you put investments here, no matter how much you tried to find this here and find that job here, nothing panned out. Nothing came through. Nothing um worked out, so you were able to do XYZ. And it's difficult because it's like, okay, well, you're able body, you're an adult, you can work, you're capable, you don't have a disease, you don't have a space where you what you call it. It's a that's where it's difficult, because it's like you even though that's facts, it's not truth, in the space that, yes, that may be facts. However, the truth of the matter is there's that it was blocked, and it was blocked and orchestrated by Abba in order for you to be able to go back and get all of those gems so that you can move forward. You couldn't move forward without going back. You couldn't go forward without um understanding where it all went wrong, where it all got reprogrammed and misprogrammed. You couldn't step into what Abba called you into and be able to handle the mantle that he's called for you without going back to get all these gems and training and preparation that you needed in order to be able to um, carry the mantle that he's given you, that he's assigned to you, as well as carry and understand how to help the ones that are coming behind you. You get me? Test the spirit by the spirit. Don't want to make this too long, but yes, brings back to Abba. Is it for you? What parts are for you? Etc. Etc. Remember, God is love. Jesus, the way, the truth, and the life. And I'll be back up here when He leads me to do the next video. Okay, ciao.